Welcome to the New Shooter 101 Instructors Clinic. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Our purpose in presenting this is to provide a place where firearms instructors can exchange ideas for training beginners in defensive handgun skills. Today we're talking with Jeff Bickford, a firearms instructor with Armed Defense Training Association in Seattle, Washington. Jeff is well known for his creative live fire shooting scenarios. In just a minute we're going to show you a video from one of his events, which is about learning to shoot from a car. We're also here with Wu Chin, who is the training director for ADTA. We're going to watch a video about shooting from a car and discuss some of the key points. Later on, we'll hear from Kara McRae, who appears in the video and has trained with ADTA for a number of years. She's going to tell us what it was like for her and what she learned in her live fire training experience.
Okay, well, Ed, let's start off by, let me give you a little background on this scenario, and then we can walk through it. We've done similar things in our dry fire exercises where we would have carjacking scenarios. We equip the participants with either airsoft guns with no pellets in them, or with CERT training pistols, and had a couple of our cars out there, and we basically set up a scenario where you're stopped at a light and something happens. We had one person that would maybe be a distraction, or something happens outside of the car as you would approach the person in the car, and typically there was another actor who would come in from the other side, sneak up to the side while they're being distracted, and or maybe from the front, and would basically surprise the person and tell them to get out of the car or whatever. So it's a good exercise to practice with inert firearms, but how do you get a real good sense of what you're going to do and you have the bang as well? So that's what we really wanted to do with this video. Let's go ahead and start a little bit of it, and we'll pause throughout and kind of talk it. So y'all can kind of walk a little closer. See if I can walk this through. So, any of y'all that have gone through our carjacking scenarios at the workshops, sometimes you'll find yourself that you actually have to gauge a threat while it's approaching you. Obviously a bad guy, this guy looks shady, that guy looks shady, he's got a blank look on his face, but trust me, he's a bad guy. All of these are imminent threats. What this exercise is intended to do is show you how to engage each of those threats depending on where they are in the vehicle. If you're sitting on the driver's side, engage them this way, facing straight ahead, or out the passenger side. So here's what we're going to do. I'll demonstrate this once. It works the same way in each of the settings. I'll go ahead and load and make ready. We'll do this. So the main point of this is you need to learn how to get to your gun if you're properly set up in your nice Volvo SUV. Put your seatbelt on. Certain things we do not want you to do is muzzle your legs. Very important. Okay,
on this
so let's pause right there.
Sorry, I didn't sprinkle tilt.
Okay, so there's several things that were mentioned there. One of the key items here is we really wanted to make this look realistic, as much as we could without having to drag 3 vehicles in. So part of the scenario here is the seat belts and a steering wheel, because those are 2 things that you absolutely have to deal with when you're in the car. I just had some folding chairs there, went to a auto junkyard or a pick and pull type place, and for a little over $100 got basically enough parts to set up 3 sets of seat belts, 3 steering wheels, and then the rest of the stuff was just plywood and 2x4s and some folding chairs I had laying around. So with a little bit of effort and some creativity, you can basically replicate what it's like to sit in the car. So let's go ahead and continue from there.
Steering. So in this exercise, you might want to move this way a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is take my thumb, and in this case, I'm assuming everybody's carrying on the side.
or at the back. Take your thumb, hook it on the seat belt. You lean forward. This does two things. Clears the seat belt out of the way, allows you to get to the firearm. Draw the firearm. You need to clear the steering wheel. You want to go over the steering wheel so you don't muzzle your leg. Over the steering wheel and engage.
Okay, let's stop right there.
That's the idea.
All right, so now we kind of get into some of the safety aspects. That's something you really have to think about if you ever have to draw your firearm while you're in the car. A common thing that we saw in the workshops a lot is people pull the gun right out. If they have the seatbelt up here, they move, seatbelt locks. And if it doesn't, by the time they get the gun out, they want to move it straight across their leg. So what's one of the first things we ever say for safety? Don't ever point the gun at anything you don't want to destroy. So, I'm kind of partial to my legs and I don't want to destroy them. So that's the key safety takeaway that we want to keep in mind here is when that gun comes out, go over the steering wheel before you aim it at the threat. So let's go ahead and keep going from there.
So, and if you do this fast, it will lock up. Exactly. So that's the exercise. Same thing in this position, although in this case, you're coming straight up over the steering wheel. In this case, you still want to move forward so you can get to your firearm, shoot straight out the side. Do one-handed if you need to. If you feel like it, roll to the side, give yourself a smaller target. That's the idea.
Do you have to pull
Okay.
that one forward in the middle, or you just can just engage?
The
seatbelt. The seatbelt.
seatbelt. Pull the seatbelt forward in order to get to your firearm, yes.
Okay.
So let's pause there again.
Any three
Three victims. So you see another reason for why we set up the scenario like it was is part of this is trying to get to a point where we give all of the participants an opportunity to shoot from different positions because you never know which direction the threat's going to be coming from. And in this situation, we're also dealing with a safety aspect is we don't want the first person as they draw their firearm and bring it up over the steering wheel actually muzzling the person in front of them if the seats were oriented that way. So we determined a pretty easy way of doing this is just have everybody rotated 90 degrees to each other. That way the firearms are always pointed away from each other. One is pointed to the wall and out, and yeah, frankly, it's only the person in the first position that ever doesn't have their gun pointed straight toward a downrange scenario. So we're able to get more people through the drill and then can rotate them around to get the experience of multiple positions. All right, let's go ahead and keep going.
Pull the seatbelt forward in order to get to your firearm, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any three volunteers? So what we're going to do is have three of you. We're going to rotate everybody through one position and then three new shooters.
Plus two.
So, if you will, stand up, face down range, load and make ready, and holster your firearm. Okay. Go ahead and have a seat.
Darn foreign cars.
You should have seen what this came out of.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'll
man.
just talk a little bit while we're setting this up. That
Brilliant.
actually was three different vehicles, from a Toyota Tercel to a big Volvo luxury
All right,
SUV.
Everybody buckled up, nice and tidy. Okay,
How many rounds?
2 rounds. So when I give the command of go, you will draw your firearm and engage the target. Any questions? Shooters ready.
Ready?
Go! Okay, shooters, reholster your firearms. Do not flag your legs. Holster your firearms.
All right, let's go ahead and pause there. All right, so The two people here on the immediately closest to us in the middle obviously had a little easier time because their guns are still pointed mostly downrange. Kira is the participant on the end. She was the one that you could see she was very careful to move the gun over the steering wheel and back in so as not to flag. Again, that's the key point there in that position when shooting across your body. Another thing we did in this action by grabbing that seatbelt and moving it, I had them keep their hand on it because as their other hand with the gun is going over the steering wheel, their support hand is out of the way. Once it's out of the way, they can go ahead and get a good two grip position for maximum retention and stability. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going.
Perfect. We'll do this one more time. If you can get the gun out without having to move the seatbelt, that's great. If you do, go ahead and make sure you lean forward to get it out of the way. Do this one more time. Shooters ready.
Ready.
Go! Shooters, holster your firearms. Kira, you just flagged your knees. Okay, shooters, go ahead and unbuckle. And get up and rotate this way. Same drill, different day.
So we just go through a couple of iterations here showing
That's why I tried full
each
size
person in
Subaru.
each position.
Shooters ready.
Ready.
Go!
All right, let's pause right there. Now you notice Kira's in the front position here. In this one, she didn't even grab the seatbelt. She happens to have her gun positioned in a position where she can get to it easy enough. You don't have to do that. We really tried to get everybody to rotate through here and get used to grabbing that seatbelt and moving it, sort of as a universal starting point. Depending on the way a person may carry their gun, they may not have to do that. But it also gives you that exposure, because a couple of people have had this happen while they were going through the drill, is they want to get to that gun quickly, so they move forward, it locks the seatbelt, and they can't get to it. So you can really try to make sure they have a conscious effort to grab the seatbelt, slowly move forward to get it out of there, because if it locks up, you're putting yourself in a disadvantage. So a little slower is better. All right, let's keep going.
Do this one more time. Depending on your car, may lock up a little easier than others.
I just shoot. I'd like to drive a convertible. I'm just gonna shoot.
Ready. Go! Shooters, holster your firearms. Go ahead and unbuckle. Stand up. Face down range. Unholster your firearms. Unload and show clear. We got a few safes up to clear.
All right, and that's the end of the video there. So one thing I'll comment about, you heard a lot of other gunfire going on. Where we were shooting this, we actually had two bays that we were using. There were some participants in the other bay doing some other stuff, so it's a little bit of noise pollution during the video. But so just in case you were wondering what that noise was, it was a completely another bay with people doing a similar drill over there.
So appreciate hearing your comments. It's a really interesting scenario. Kira, we just got to watch you in this wonderful little scenario from a live fire shooting event. What was that like going through that?
It was really fun. It was a blink. This is why I absolutely love going through these different tactical trainings with this group, because you need the muscle memory. You need to know what it feels like. I had no idea what it would feel like to live fire shoot through a vehicle and have that sensation, have that experience. So I'm really grateful that I have it. Now I have a muscle memory for it, and I appreciate the creative training.
So I appreciate hearing your thoughts. Thanks, Kara. Woo, you've been sitting there watching the movie. Do you
Yes.
have any thoughts about all this?
No, this was a fun event. Everybody seemed to enjoy it, and they get a lot out of it. One of the questions that we did get was, what happens if you're shooting through glass? Does the bullet go straight through, or how does that work? So we explore that a bit as far as the front and the back windshields are concerned, because the slope of the glass of the windshields and such, it deflects the bullets slightly. So shooting frontward, it goes up slightly, and shooting from the outside in, it deflects downwards a little bit. So we talked about that as well.
I want to say thanks to everybody who participated in this production here and in the video. And to the audience, I want to say thank you for watching this video. We really appreciate it. Our motivation for making these videos is to start conversations with other firearms instructors who are training beginners. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Also tell us about what you're doing in your classes and events. If you liked what you saw, please click the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you at the range.